What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week is Vincent Janito,
Scoop,
Sam Claiborne,
hey everybody,
and Jonathan Dornbush.
How's it going?
We've got a great show for you this week. This week's episode is actually brought to you by Audible, our friends over at Audible, who will read your books to you, so you can do other things while you get your book reading done. You can surf the World Wide Web over to audible.com/GameScoop for a free 30-day trial, which I believe is enough time to read all the books.
Mm-hmm. You can listen to books while you clean the house. That's what I do.
Yeah?
I end up cleaning my house even more when I'm listening to a book.
Yeah.
Yep. I looked up some good books on there too.
It's like, well, there's only one more chapter. I guess I'll just clean this room again.
I'm reading Three Body Problem right now, which is a really cool sci-fi book.
Three Body Problem?
The Three Body Problem. It has a video game in it, actually, that the main character plays. It's a popular sci-fi book. It's the start of a trilogy. All three are out right now. I recommend that. It's on Audible. You can check that one out.
All right, well, we'll have some book recommendations later on this show. We got to talk about Call of Duty. We're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda, which is just around the corner. But first, what are the best game publishers releasing games today? Our friends over at Metacritic
Nintendo
put together a list. They put together a list every year where they rank today's game publishers, and their ranking is based on four different things that give them which would they determine a score for the publishers. They're based on overall game quality, average review scores, the percent of games with good reviews, the percent of games with bad reviews, and then the number of great reviews, 90 scores or higher. And they add all that up to come up with a list of the top 10 publishers. And they separate them out by large publishers and mid-tier publishers. Large publishers are considered those who have released 12 or more titles in 2016.
I guess we should quickly explain what publishers are, too, because I think it's confusing. Like, there's a developer. A developer is a group of people that make a video game.
Think of it like a book, which you can listen to at
Yes.
audible.com.
That's true.
The book has an author,
Yeah.
and then it's published by a publisher.
Yeah, but like Konami is a developer and a publisher. So Konami, made Castlevania.
Not much of either anymore.
Not recently,
and they published Castlevania. But then, so it gets a little bit confusing when it comes to that. And they made a fake publisher called Ultra Games, and then developed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and put that out on Ultra, along with things like
for the
Jackal. Is that one?
Visual NES for certification reasons, right?
Yes, because they could only do I think it's
So many
5 games a year they could publish. So it was like a Nintendo quality control. So here's a fake publisher. Anyway, that's the difference between a publisher and developer. Yeah. But Nintendo is a publisher and developer.
That's true.
Yes,
that is true. So let's rank these publishers here. This is based on Metacritic, but I think the results are very interesting. Ranked number 1. Anybody guess?
Nintendo.
How would it be?
Number one publisher.
At least not for last year.
My guess might be.
Oh well, last year was a tough year. For Nintendo.
Remember, this is 2016, and you're thinking about the average review score, and then the number of great games, the number of bad games.
And this is the large publisher category.
It's a large publisher.
Okay,
category.
Ubisoft,
12 or more games.
or more games, which is like
Oh wow.
4 companies.
Well, yeah, it really.
I've got a top
It's
10
UB, Activision, EA,
UB, Activision, EA,
Sony.
Bethesda. No, they probably didn't do 12.
Sony. I don't
Did
know if Sony actually
PlayStation
published
publish enough?
12.
Good point.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
if you count I don't know if you count. Yeah, if you count XDev, maybe. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go with if Sony counts. I'm gonna go
If
with
they
Sony.
count,
They
I
had
would
good
say
scores.
Sony.
Last
Sony
year.
does count. Number 1 was EA,
Oh wow.
the publisher that
Chills.
gamers love to hate. Actually, apparently released the most good games last year.
That makes
Average
sense.
review score 79.7.
Titanfall 2 was great.
Yep.
That was the best game they released last year.
Battlefield is great.
Battlefield 1. Yes.
The sports games did well overall. last year.
EA's best
High
new
ratings,
new IP was Unravel. The worst game they released last year was Need for Speed on PC, though.
Okay.
And we realized a new Need for Speed game came out.
I didn't.
It was
Unravel,
probably
but
from
I
the
feel
year
guilty
before.
about that.
Yeah, I actually have not played Unravel.
play it?
You know,
I
one of
did.
these-
I didn't love it. I think it's charming, beautiful to look at. Not
So
really
let's
that fun
change
to
that.
play. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of these months
I
it's
have
going to
a
be a free game with gold.
Yeah.
So
It's
definitely check
Yarny
it out.
is adorable though. I do love him.
It's like, and I feel like you can say all the same exact things about Little Big Planet 2. I'm like in the same exact boat. Like totally charming, totally cute, get it, but is a platformer not enjoyable. Yeah. Totally.
Number 2 with an average review score of 77.1 was Square Enix. They were actually considered a mid-sized publisher the year before, but they greatly increased their quantity of releases in 2016.
Interesting.
Best game was
And they had Final Fantasy Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a good new IP in the Turing Test, which is another
Right,
smaller
is
game.
Yeah,
Remember
when it came out.
Remember,
it-
Square
Yeah.
Enix has started publishing indie games.
Yes.
just to get on lists like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess the episodic. Does each episode of Hitman count as something separate?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they count it that way, but they do count like DLC, like the Rise of the Tomb Raider Cold Darkness Awakened DLC, which was their worst release for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, with an average review score of 76.5, was Nintendo.
Nice.
Best new game, Fire Emblem Fates. Best new IP, Pocket Card Jockey.
Yes.
I
love that game. It's so much fun.
I never got good at it.
I felt like I would get good for a couple games and then completely lose. It was total luck, but I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think Nintendo's
That's by Game Freak, by the way.
Nintendo lowest scoring game last year
Ooh.
was?
By us.
Animal Crossing or was that?
Starbucks.
No, it was actually Pokemon Rumble World.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Zero Fox given.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
boy.
good. Sony was number 4. Average review score is 70.9. Best release, obviously, Uncharted 4.
Yep.
Best new IP, Alienation. And their worst game was Hustle Kings VR.
Sounds about
I
right.
don't believe it.
Shocking.
Actually, the bulk of Sony's low-scoring games last year were their VR games. Is that or not?
Yeah, I mean, it makes enough sense, right? I mean, like, a lot of those are just, like, experiences. I feel like the VR games that came out with the PSVR that were good were really good, and then the rest were mostly, like, throwaways. So that kind of makes sense. That'll screw up your average real good when you
Is
throw a
the
salvo of 20 mini experiences that, you know, were kind of just half-hearted attempts to sell hardware.
Plus, everybody reviews launch games
Yep.
in
Yeah.
big quantities. We're about to with the Switch, right?
Right.
All 6.
Yep. All mass. I don't know how we're gonna manage it.
All
I'm
hands
not
on deck.
criticizing Nintendo for having a small.
No, why
launch
would you do
lineup.
that?
No, I'm really not. Like
Yeah.
I think all you need is Zelda. I don't really care about everything else. I'm cool with that.
I'd rather have a small, solid lineup than 30 games that I won't play 20 of.
I
It's
only
just
care
gonna be
about
down
Zelda,
there.
nothing else. Spoken like a true Nintendo fan.
That's what I feel. That's what in my heart.
Number
Your heart
5.
hurts.
Number 5 on the list of large publishers may surprise you. Exceed or Marvelous USA.
That does
Average-
surprise me.
With an average review score of 71.5. Now you might be saying, wait a minute, that's higher than Sony's. Yes, but remember there are other factors that they use to
Right.
rate everything. Exceed's best game was The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 for PS3.
I don't know that one.
You have officially lost me. Yeah.
Worst game was Exile's End for Wii U. Something called Exile's End. Never heard of it, but hey, it's a Wii U game.
It's gonna be rare.
So yeah.
Ooh, pick that one up.
Number
Unless it's downloadable.
6 was Capcom. Average review score 71. Best game was Monster Hunter Generations. Worst game was Umbrella Corps.
They put out more than 12 games, huh?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, that's
This year should be better for them. They're off to a really good start with Resident Evil 7. Number 7 was Activision Blizzard. Average review score 71. Best game was Overwatch. Worst game was Ghostbusters. Remember they do
Yeah, the mobile.
Right,
they
that.
do those budget games.
Yeah.
Not even the mobile game.
No, there was
PS4,
that console
okay.
release right around the movie.
PC, Xbox.
Yeah, I remember people complaining about it, but I never played it.
It should be noted that Blizzard's average review score is 85. So Blizzard on their own is much more successful than Activision Blizzard. Number 8, Bandai Namco. Average review score 70.8. Best game, Dark Souls 3. Worst game, Lost Reavers for Wii U.
Did they change their name back to Namco Bandai? Wasn't that a thing this year?
I can
No, I don't think
never
they've
keep up
switched
with
this year.
which
No.
one it is.
I feel like there's a point in every year where we all stop and go, wait a minute, is it back again or not?
Yeah.
We kind of do this dance every year.
Lost Reavers is another Wii U game that I have not heard of.
Mm.
Number 9, Telltale. Average review score 71.1. Best game was their Batman Episode 2. Worst game was something called 7 Days to Die, which is a game they just published.
Yeah,
didn't
they
develop
published
it.
that one.
This is the second straight year where Telltale's average review scores have declined. I'm wondering if the novelty is wearing off for that style of licensed adventure game.
I think they're also putting out more
Yeah,
than
that's
they
true.
were every year almost, it feels like. So I'm sure there is some, especially as more episodes come out, it's likely that some will drop down for sure.
Yeah. Finally, number 10, Ubisoft's average review score 69. Best game was Watch Dogs 2. Best new IP was Werewolves Within, the VR game.
Yeah, which is just Werewolf
Yep.
in VR. Right?
Pretty neat game.
Ubisoft's worst game was The Crew Calling All Units, the re-release of The Crew.
Sorry, Mike Aransky.
You likes that one?
That is Mike Aransky's game. Like
Really?
that year when it came out, Crew was like all he could talk about until it came out. And then it came out and he was like, but yeah.
Mike Aransky is part of our video team here. Now, if you're wondering about mid-sized developers, I have the top 5 here. Mid-size would be they've released fewer than 12 games last year. Number 1, Paradox. Do you know what game they published? Hearts of Iron 4.
Oh, cool. That's right. Okay.
Number 2, Sega.
Is that like a Sky combat game?
No. It's a strategy game.
RTS?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a PC strategy game.
Yeah,
Great
I
series.
heard that name. Yep.
Number 2 is Sega. Total War Warhammer was their best game last year. Number
Excellent game.
3 was Microsoft. They're considered a mid-sized publisher just because of the amount of games that they publish.
They publish them.
Sure, yeah. One day they'll be as big as Xseed. It's fine.
Microsoft's best game last year was Forza Horizon 3. Number 4 was Take-Two. Their best games were Civ 6 and XCOM 2. Finally, Warner Brothers, whose best release was Dying Light, the following enhanced edition.
AWB does a lot.
That's weird that Microsoft doesn't have a bunch of small games they're putting out.
Yeah, I even looked. I guess they didn't publish Limbo.
Or
Okay.
Inside.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Inside. Yeah,
yeah.
Inside. I guess. Interesting. I mean, it did come to other platforms
quickly
fairly
came,
soon.
yeah.
after.
Like they're almost synonymous with like at least indie development because of all their.
Yeah. They did publish Ori and the Blind Forest, I believe.
It is kind of an
Might
odd
have
criteria for it to be number of games when it's like the amount of publishing resources it takes to help a big AAA game across the finish line is equal to 10 indie games or even maybe 3 or 4 mid-sized games. So
That's true.
that's an interesting. I'm not sure if that metric is the most. Let's say this: any criteria in which Xseed is considered a major publisher, a huge publisher, and Microsoft is not, maybe needs to be reevaluated.
All right. I'm just saying, Xseed released more games than Microsoft did. And they released a lot of good games, apparently.
Oh, was that your criteria? That wasn't your criteria, though, right?
No, this is Metacritic.
Yeah, right. This is Metacritic. Yeah. Very strange.
Maybe Xseed will be coming out with a console this year.
I almost swallowed my tea bag.
Oh my god, that's the worst.
Let's get on to the news of the week. This week, Activision announced that the next Call of Duty game, this year's Call of Duty game, is going to be getting back to its roots. Those are the words Activision used. They said traditional combat will once again take center stage.
Traditional combat.
Now we know.
That's spears and fists.
Now we know that recently Call of Duty
Rocks.
has been reaching into the future. Last year's was Infinite Warfare, sci-fi space setting. We know that Activision has said the space setting didn't resonate with players, and it wasn't the success that Activision planned. Of course, Infinite Warfare was still the best-selling game of the entire year 2016. So,
And
Not a flop.
And by many
Just
people's
by their standards, they
and by-
want to do better.
and by many people's accounts, the most interesting Call of Duty in a long time.
people
Critics'
seem to like.
accounts.
Yeah.
Well, people seem to like.
Oh
the
yeah, I don't
campaign.
know what the disconnect was there. I don't hear people clamoring to go back to World War II, but I don't mind that.
Well, so Battlefield 1 did go back
Back
World
farther.
War
back
I.
even
Yeah.
further.
One.
But what a lot of people say, well, that's why. It's people are sick of space, and Battlefield 1 had this great success, so that's
never
why
get sick
they're
of space.
going back to its roots. But keep in mind, Activision has 3 teams working on Call of Duty at all times, and they trade off. So the next one is developed by Sledgehammer.
Yes.
They've been working on this game for 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
So they can't just at the last minute be like, wait a minute, let's pivot.
Palette swap.
Yeah, let's
everything.
just pivot,
Yeah,
turn
that's a
everything
good
from
point.
sci-fi into World War II again.
Yeah,
So,
just replace all the space
They-
tech.
Maybe they just got
World War
lucky and
II.
they were planning that anyway.
I mean, that's
yeah.
what it.
It also makes
would
you
guess.
wonder about like corporate espionage and the degree to which these big publishers kind of find one way or another to catch wind of what their competitors are doing. It might have been that at some point in the middle of development of Advanced Warfare or of Infinite Warfare rather, maybe they caught wind that EA was going back and they said, well, we got to start making those plans.
Sure.
Who knows how many years ago that could have been when they, whenever DICE started working on Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
So
who
we
knows?
immediately go to setting, but they mentioned combat. Like, what do you think really that means by roots?
Well, what are its roots? Its roots are in World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's setting, but like, is there
I mean,
anything
that's
else
also
that's
but also gunplay, and in terms
So, like,
of your
game speed,
Yeah.
boots on the ground.
and the repertoire you have, like the weaponry is much simpler than it would
Yeah.
be when you're going into space, and you have all this technological advancement in the gameplay.
Yeah.
That's stripped away, and you're focused more on the guns.
So
and
I looked
grenades.
up IGN's review of the very first Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to go to the Wayback Machine because it was,
That's from
it
like
was not loading
around
properly.
like the year 2000, right?
Yeah, 2003, I believe.
Wow.
I think it's that late, but it might have been 2002. I think Dan Adams reviewed it, but it's really funny because it's 4 pages long, and 3.5 or more of those pages are only about single player. And that game was like this big single player cinematic experience that was like revolutionary. It invented things like the grenade going off next to you and you hearing ringing and kind of like it had like that was new for that game. And then the kill cam was actually new in multiplayer. It'd never been a kill cam before. So after you die, they think it's so novel in this review that you can see like the feed of people like running around and see who killed you. Thus, teabagging was invented.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like some innovations in it, but like most it was really a single player thing. And then by 2, it's all about the multiplayer, you know. And so I think of I too when I think back on Call of Duty, I'm like, oh yeah, it was like this cinematic World War II game, and man, that would be amazing with contemporary technology.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear back to its roots, I assume World War II, but also for a large generation of players. Modern Warfare is kind of the roots of Call of Duty for them.
That's also
that
a
is
really good point.
I mean, that is one of the high points of that franchise.
Maybe maybe it's just going to be another Modern Warfare for 2017.
Yeah.
Whatever that would. Look
I mean, and Modern Warfare is pretty close to the game they just put out.
Relatively,
Relatively,
yes, for
yeah,
sure.
but
Yeah.
because it was still futuristic,
yeah,
but not space.
not to the
futuristic.
extent of
Yeah, at the time, if you go back to the original Call of Duty style, like at the time, that was a huge coup because they were kind of the new kids in town showing up the long established and getting stale franchise Medal of Honor. You know, people were
That's
sick.
exactly right.
Yeah,
In fact,
people were
our
sick
whole
of Medal of
review was talking about Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
It was just comparing the two.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor was like 98, I want to say.
Yeah.
It's the same team as Call of Duty.
Yep.
Those are the same people, but
Yeah.
they went from EA to
Yes.
Activision,
That's right.
Yeah.
which is a neat little point in history. And then Medal of Honor, like what? That
Yeah.
series petered
No
out.
one even.
Well,
I bet most people don't even remember that series anymore.
The last one I can remember is Airborne, which I covered at an EA event for IGN in 2007, maybe.
I think there was Medal of Honor Warfighter, I want to say. in
Dan says that was the
2011.
last game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
forgot
that was
about that.
20.
I
I remember
completely
playing that
forgot
at like a PAX. I remember having to preview that game.
And that was more of a modern setting.
Yes, yeah.
Warfighter, gotta love those generic shooters.
I know, yeah.
No kidding.
Gun shooter.
So what do you think it'll be called?
Ooh.
Call of Duty, back to our roots.
It could be 4 or
Back to
5.
basics.
I
Call of
think
Duty 5. Yeah.
this might be the moment where they choose to take the ultimate way out and just go Call of Duty.
Because it went Call of Duty 3, then Modern Warfare, but that was called Call of Duty 4 Modern
Modern
That was
Warfare.
called Call of Duty
So
4.
they
Modern
haven't
Warfare.
done a 5.
And then it was
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2.
Or they could do
World
the,
at War was
They're
in
gonna
between.
do.
Oh,
they could do the Mario
Yeah.
Kart thing where they just add up all of them, but we didn't know they were numbered, and then it's just called like Call of Duty 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I think they're just gonna do Call of Duty.
That's your prediction?
Yep, that's
Well,
what
we're
I'm
gonna find out.
Yep.
We're gonna find out relatively soon as we head into E3 in June. So I mean, we're only a couple
months
months
away.
away from finding out exactly what it means.
My heart just started beating faster.
Call of Duty getting back to its roots. All right, moving on to another news item from this week. This week we learned that for the first time in its history, the series history, The Legend of Zelda is going to have a season pass.
Yeah.
Now, technically, there was the Zelda BS for the Satellaview in the 90s.
Zelda BS? did you
Yes, I know. It was a series of downloaded, streamed satellite Zelda levels, including a remake of the very first Zelda game in Super Nintendo graphics. This is only in Japan.
And
So-
you think that's a counts?
So
as
we
a
don't
season
really
pass?
have to have this conversation because there's nothing new under the sun.
Oh, of course, clearly.
Shows up.
How convenient.
Yeah, no, it was like the Sega Channel. So you would plug in your Super Nintendo, your Super Famicom in Japan, and you get new Zelda challenges every day.
Wait, did you have to pay for it?
You did. You subscribed.
Oh, wow.
And you could also probably subscribe to this. This is a little bit pre-web internet. Like it was very early. So you could probably get like recipes and stuff like that.
Recipes?
Yeah. Remember that was like the big pitch for computers back in the day? You can store your recipes on it.
Well, that was I'm
the
sure
70s, I mean.
I'm sure that was like the pitch to get like housewives interested.
Yeah, or a home computer, we should say.
Yeah, sure.
That's really funny.
Help you do your taxes. It's a big
Yeah,
push.
exactly. And I still don't do my taxes on my computer. Come on.
Yeah, it's someone else's job. Anyway, Breath of the Wild is getting a season pass. It's $20. It'll be available. I don't know if you can buy it now or if it's
I didn't see it
it's-
purchased.
I don't-
No,
Yeah.
it's not
for
purchasable
two
yet.
packs. It's for 2 packs that come later in the year.
Yeah. And you can't buy them separately
Yeah,
at this point. Yeah.
it's just they're gonna include things like new challenges, a hard mode.
Wait, it doesn't just say new challenges, does it?
That's well,
Yeah, they're remaining pretty vague about.
Well, I
what
saw the list. I just knew there was one that
yeah.
was that vague.
Yeah.
All right.
a hard mode, a new dungeon, new story content, and a Nintendo Switch shirt that Link can wear.
Yeah, that one's a little silly.
Well, yeah.
Product placement inside your product.
I don't think I've ever bought a season pass for any game, even though they are
Yeah, I
very
was trying to think back,
standard
too.
now. If it's actual extra content, I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is making people pay for a hard mode, because That's just like you're just like tuning numbers in the game at that point, right?
Maybe bad hard modes, sure,
There's
are
also
just like
Master Quest style hard modes.
right, exactly. So if they actually rebalance,
So they did that once before too. You could buy the disc with the Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest on it.
If bosses have new
Which is a
animations
giveaway,
and new attacks,
technically.
or
You could also buy it.
Pre-order, I think.
Sure.
it's not common, but like there are games that have done raised difficulty that's a lot more than just, hey, now you take more damage, hey, now you deal less damage, or enemies are spongier. Like you can actually have, I've seen plenty of games that do like, hey, this enemy has an entirely 2 or 3 new attacks that it did not have in the previous difficulty
Yeah,
level.
or it mirrors the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously though, you could add more enemies or tougher, or add new enemies. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do to make a game harder.
Sure.
And if there's a series I could
they'll
see
probably
doing
just
it that
limit
way,
the hearts.
it would be Zelda.
I just think it's going to be interesting as a test case for Nintendo. Like and this is not like necessarily a dig at them, but like this is not their thing. Like they haven't found ways. They haven't really even they haven't really tried to integrate stuff like downloadable content or online services like that deeply with their software. So I want to see how they do it. Like I want to see if what they offer is substantial, how much they think $20 should buy people, and also like how they're going to handle content for people who haven't bought the season pass, right? Like if it's going to be something that's seamlessly built into the game, but people who have the pass will get the content, and people who don't will get some big dumb goofy message, hey, you're going to need to buy this in order to get that. Like I want to see how they integrate it into the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm also really curious to see how fans react, because like I'd be the last person in the world to start, clutching my pearls over, oh my God, a $20 season pass. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. Like, it's absolutely not. But at the same time, I think there's a long history of Nintendo fans kind of like letting things slide because it's Nintendo. So I'm interested to see.
You mean like the launch lineup?
Like the launch lineup.
I'm having a hard time.
I don't think letting things slide because Nintendo is accurate. I think letting things slide because the best developer ever is making a really good game, and you want to play more of it.
Oh, sure. No.
I mean, Shigeru Miyamoto and EJ Numa are making a new game. That's pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying anyone should be angry at Nintendo over this. What I'm saying is I want to see if the Nintendo fan base reaction to having DLC, especially DLC that they're going to have to buy sight unseen without knowing what the second half of it is even going to look like. I want to see if the reaction that fan base has is the same as it would be in, say, the Sony pool or the Microsoft pool.
So I agree with you on that. Yeah. I think it's kind of strange that we don't. There's a thing we all do right now where we don't know what's coming out in this DLC, and that's upsetting. I completely understand that. What am I paying for in my Batman season pass? They don't even tell me. Here they did tell us, and I don't know what more they need to do, though, because it does feel weird that we don't know more of it, but also I don't know what's in the main game.
Right.
And I'm already buying that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, this is like a secretive game. So I
mean,
don't know what to do.
That's why I never buy season passes before I know what the content is, because if I love the game, I will buy more content for it happily. Like I was happy to buy. I did buy the Burial at Sea BioShock Infinite season pass because once it was out and reviewed favorably and it seemed interesting to me, I thought that was worth buying the whole pass. But until the Zelda content is out, I'm not going to touch the season pass, but I'm sure there's enough in the main game to keep me excited for now.
Yeah. So Vince, I'm actually having a hard time determining where you fall on this, where you land on this. Whether you have an opinion about the season pass, whether it's good or bad or not.
Oh no, I don't think it's bad at all, or good. Honestly, like it's a business decision. I hope it works out for them, and I hope it works out for the consumer as well. I'm just more interested to see how people receive it, because right now there's a lot of people who get DLC is like there's no right way to do it. Like as far as the game, the average gamer.
That's totally
is
right. Yeah.
Like they like if you, it's like either no one wants to look at it as, oh good, I get more of a game that I already like. It's like no, if it's on day one, then it should have been on the disc. If it's if it's 6 months from now, well, the price is too high, or that you should have just given it to me for free.
Yeah.
Like there's no you can't ever do it the right way. People are always annoyed about it and always think that it's the most evil thing ever. So I'm just curious to see if Nintendo fans think it's the most evil thing ever. As far as I'm concerned, like my bigger thing is especially with games of the size that Breath of the Wild seems to be, like the litmus test there in terms of value would be something like Fallout 4, or Skyrim. And typically the DLC for those are massive, substantial expansions with
So much so that I'm always like balking at them. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Do I have time to play
it's
more
so
Witcher?
much more content, right? And then so like for a game that's going to be ostensibly probably like $60, that's going to be so massive. I don't know if $20 for one more dungeon and some challenges is really going to, like, what's the value there? Like a third more of the price of the game for maybe a couple of hours more content in a game that I'm already playing for probably 80 hours to 100 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So, but we'll see. We're only speculating at this point. Until we see the content, there's no way to know.
And there's story content promised, and we don't know how
That's
they're
the
going to
big-
integrate that.
the
And
big thing.
that's the thing I'm most excited to see what that is.
A
Because if it's-
standalone story on the map. That's the
Yeah.
Fallout sounding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's of a high quality, I don't mind paying that much for it.
There's supposed to be a new dungeon too. So
Yeah.
it's like if it's a significant new dungeon,
So-
that's kind of the whole point of Zelda anyway.
I think this is kind of on the business side. I don't know if this sounds cynical, but like I think this is replacing the add a multiplayer mode to every game like thing where it's like, listen, DRM's not really working out in games right now, and they want you to keep your
They
game
want you
and
to
not
keep your
resell
disc
it.
and not resell it.
So for many years, it was like just tack on a multiplayer mode, and I hated that. I thought that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And some of them turned out pretty good, like Uncharted and stuff. And like, I'm not criticizing those modes, but just like if they were bad, then we're like, how do we even evaluate this game? Like, do you just evaluate the single player mode? It's just confusing, and I don't
Does it
think
drag
works.
down the single player?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Dead Space didn't need multiplayer. It
And
was a
think
great
of what
experience.
that development could have gone into if they were all working on a bigger map or like a cooler. And so now this is what I do like this better than that, because I'm like, oh, well, the team is not making like a silly. Like there could seriously have been a multiplayer Zelda thing, which happened in Phantom Hourglass, right? There was like multiplayer Zelda stuff, and it's like, was this worth their time?
Yeah, and you make a
Now
really
they're making more story stuff, which I think is cool.
Yeah, totally. I want, like, I've already played some of Zelda and already feel like, at E3, and I feel like it's definitely something I'll want more of rather than not more of. But you make a really good point in terms of it being a strategy to keep people from trading in their game, because while a tacked on multiplayer mode will either not pull me in at all, or I will play it for 20 seconds and then be like, this is garbage. Like, knowing now when I buy the game in March that sometime in November or October there's going to be new story content, I'm definitely not ever trading.
Of course, that also tells them that they shouldn't share any information on that until then. Well, no, I guess it does. I guess teasing it and showing how cool it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if it's not cool, then they'd hold off.
Yeah.
Well, and they've
Maybe
been
that's
very
a tell.
they've been very secretive about the main game so far, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure they don't want to say anything about. They probably
I
know what the
completely
DLC is,
agree.
but they don't want to tell you until the main game's out. Yeah.
Well, speaking of The Legend of Zelda, we have an email from one of our listeners, Cameron here.
Hey, Cameron.
He emailed
Cam.
us at the email address gamescoop@IGN, just like you can. And he says, I wanted to start off and say thanks for such a great show each week. It really makes the commute to work a lot more fun in the early mornings. It's our pleasure, Cameron.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Cameron says, first, it has been great to hear the general enthusiasm for the Switch, especially compared to how poorly the Wii U did. But on that note, I am a rare one that actually owns 2 Wii Us. I sent you some pictures of a project I recently finished, my handmade Super Smash Brothers
Is he
Wii
trying to
U
make a PS4?
arcade cabinet. I thought you guys might appreciate it, and I meant to print out those photos and bring them in here to show you guys, but
That's
I
cool.
forgot. So remind me after this. But he made his own Smash Brothers Wii U, like mini. It's like a cocktail, the half-size one that you set on a counter.
Yep.
Okay.
A
That's very
countertop, yeah.
That's awesome.
With 8 controllers?
There's
No.
only 2 controllers. That's why I thought maybe
What's
you
the
could, maybe you have to.
Oh, one is just for the. I see. Right.
Maybe you can plug other controllers into it, though. Yeah. I'll show you that after the show. But his question is, he says, I know you've been talking a ton about Breath of the Wild, which looks great, but it has got me thinking. Zelda herself has always had a bit of warrior princess vibe going on. And while she does get kidnapped a lot, she never seemed like a damsel in distress, especially when compared to Peach. So my question is, what if Nintendo actually made a Zelda game that starred Zelda? What would that game look like, and would you buy it?
It looked like Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon.
No,
Well-
it doesn't have to look like that.
I think that's the CDI game with her as a
That
star.
is the CDI game, yeah. I've long thought I would totally play The Legend of Link
Yeah.
Where
I
whatever,
love that idea.
where for whatever reason he gets like kidnapped
Yeah.
or
Oh,
put to
100%.
sleep, and Zelda has to go on his epic quest to save him. I would totally play that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
Zelda's chic in Ocarina of Time, and that's super cool when that reveal was made. It's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite things.
Well, I remember when Breath of the Wild was first shown, because of the way they kind of kept Link hooded and mysterious, a lot of people thought, oh, you're going to play as Zelda.
So much so that they had to ask Nintendo, like,
Yeah.
is Link gonna be a girl? And they're like, no.
No. And honestly, we still don't know enough about
they
this
should.
game. You might play as Zelda. Who knows? It could be a cool Last of Us swap.
That's
where you
absolutely
play-
true.
You play as Zelda for a few hours.
Yeah, sure.
I would take that.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it would be cool just to have it, made, right? I mean, I would play it as long as it was built on the same core pillars of, as all the other Legend of Zelda games. Like, yeah, I'd play a Legend of Link. But I think it would just be cool. It would be cool if the game could exist, because I think that just in terms of inclusiveness and giving, I feel like it's about time, right? That's all I can really say. I think it's about time for their.
Did you guys notice the DLC when it was announced had it said like extra story mode, and then it had a picture of Zelda.
Ooh,
So.
ooh,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's
Hint.
something in there.
that would be exciting.
Just like one of the major ways I play games, one of my 5 or 10 pillars of how I play games is given the choice.
The Damon way.
Given the choice, I always play as a female if the choice is up to me. So yeah, if I could just play a Zelda game and swap out Zelda and Link, that would be totally cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm going to tell you guys a story.
Okay.
Story time.
We've done this before on the show here, where I've gotten an NES manual, an old manual for an NES game, and I'm going to read you the story as it is written in the manual.
All right. I've read many of these manuals.
Yes, me too.
And let's see how quickly you guys can guess what game this is.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was last time, but it was really funny.
It was 3D World Runner.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I would have gotten that. I would have gotten that. I
did-
played the hell out of
Let's
that
see.
game.
This is I'm reading verbatim from the manual of this.
And you just think of it's NES.
And it's
And
NES.
remember,
Yeah.
it can be as obscure as 3D World Runner.
It's
Yep.
true.
Or it could be
Square
Tetris.
game.
All right, let's see how quickly you guys can get this. Ready?
That just would be good.
A long black cottonmouth quietly snakes across the porch of your
Bayou Billy.
redacted bungalow. By the Adventures of Bayou Billy.
I own that game. The Adventures
of Bayou Billy.
You got
oh
to
my
Let's do another one.
god.
His moist back shining in the moonlight.
no.
Wow, you got that
No,
really
his
fast.
moist
You didn't get me to talk about how you were just at the Jambalaya Jamboree.
Boy.
Or how
that's so good.
Yeah, or the time when a speeding limo peels across your moss-infested lawn, bullets strafe your gutters. This is
And
really
they take
fun.
your girl.
Yeah, they take your girl. And what it says,
As they always do in an 80s video game.
Yeah.
yeah. After she's kidnapped, you crumple the note and holler like a riled gator. Fire dances in your eyes and sweat beads on your hands and forehead.
This was someone's
Gators don't have
masterpiece,
hands.
guys. This was like someone got approached to write this, and it was like the moment for them. This was like the moment that defined
I think
their career.
people always, well, I don't know. We've talked about this maybe on the show, but every game from that era on NES was totally tied to a blockbuster movie, and that was tied to Crocodile Dundee.
Oh,
and
yeah, for sure.
we always talk about how Contra is a mix of Alien and
Rambo, Commando.
Commando, and they all have, and Castlevania has all the Universal monsters in it. They all have direct analogs. Metroid's another Alien one, and that one was a really weird one where it was super appealing to me because Crocodile Dundee was a popular movie when I was a little kid.
I
And
thought it was
Bayou
cool.
Billy was that's cool. It's
He's
just
got
like
a big,
that movie, and
machete,
it
yeah.
totally sold me on it.
It also had a really cool gimmick where there were side-scrolling stages and then there were light gun stages. So it was one of the
Yeah,
few games
mix it up.
that
And
made
driving.
use of. Yep, there was driving stages. So it was one of the few games that used the light gun, but it wasn't confined solely to being light gun gameplay.
But it has a basic Double Dragon vibe, and it's
Yeah.
too hard. It's really hard to get through the first crocodile area. It's
Is it-
super difficult.
Isn't one of the stages basically impossible? It's just like Battletoads level.
Probably. I mean, I owned it and never got anywhere until Game Genie came out.
You got that really fast, Sam.
Yeah.
That was very impressive.
Well, I think about Bayou Billy most of the day.
Yeah.
as one does.
You
Think about it
know,
right now.
listening to stories is fun.
Okay.
You can listen to more stories with a free trial at Audible.
What a
Just go
transition.
to audible.com/gamescoop to get started. In all seriousness, there are some cool video game books that you can listen to at Audible. One of them is The Ultimate History of Video Games. It's a very comprehensive telling of, from the very early days
I use it in my research frequently. Stephen
all
Kent
the way
wrote
up.
that.
Yeah. it's probably been updated to go through the later 2000s now, and that audiobook is 21 hours long. So
You know what's cool about that book is that it has quotes from all of these Atari developers, stuff like early developers. Like, so it kind of reads like this famous punk book, Please Kill Me. It's like really like an oral history, like just quote,
really cool.
quote. And it's so fascinating because it talks about all of Atari's excesses, all the hot tub era
the
stuff.
hot tub marijuana parties.
Yeah,
and,
it's crazy. Really, really cool.
Marijuana.
Console Wars is also on there, which is a phenomenal book about the war between Sega and Nintendo in the late 80s, early 90s. It tells that whole story, mostly from, I think, the author mostly interviewed Sega employees. So it's like a little bit from their perspective, but also tells Nintendo's side of the story too. It's a fascinating book.
Still being made into a movie, I think.
With Seth Rogen?
Yeah,
I mean,
that was the
I
last
don't
we
know.
heard of it, but yeah.
It says in the foreword of the book, which I read 2 years ago.
Yeah, Rogan wrote part of the forward.
Yeah. That's a great book.
I would love a movie that handled the console war, the big console war, from and played it totally straight, like not like.
Are you talking about that? Are you talking about that war?
Yeah,
Sega
yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually envision it as like a miniseries, like a
Yeah.
6 or 7 part miniseries. I can totally see it. Oh,
Yeah, like the people
Like
versus
the-
O.J. Simpson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Or
there
the
was the one
Steve
about
Jobs
the something of Silicon
Yeah,
Valley.
yeah, the Steve Jobs one.
What the name
Yeah.
was, but it was
Pirates of Silicon Valley?
Pirates of Silicon
Yeah.
Valley, yeah.
And once you finish that, All Your Base Are Belong to Us is another video game history book that I read. It was a couple years ago. Another solid book. Again, like that one really focuses on the early days of Atari, which is really good. Has some good Nintendo stuff in it too.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, unless you wanted to mention something, Jonathan.
Not game related. If
Then
we're
get
allowed
out. Then
on. No,
keep
yeah.
it to yourself.
This
No,
isn't
but-
Get out of here.
No, just a really good book called TV the Book.
TV, the
It's
book.
by
It's a good title.
it's by two TV critics. I think they're some of the best TV critics ever. Alan Sepinwall and Matt Stoller Seitz. I always mispronounce his name. But the two of them, they run through the top 100 shows of all time for them personally, and they're both just great writers, and they know how to get to the heart of what makes shows
I've
great.
heard them interviewed. They are so smart. and
Yes.
the shows are like from basically 6 decades.
Yeah,
really cool.
it's very expansive, and it's a very well written look at it, but also easily accessible.
Awesome.
What was their number one?
I don't want to spoil that.
Okay,
Read.
that's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
I think I remember what it was.
Breaking Bad or GTFO.
It's not.
I know.
but-
I know. I've actually looked. It's not. You guys know. Hey now,
Yeah, that's right.
secrets don't make friends.
You got it. You got it. I know.
15,000 people have the opportunity to go to E3 this year. 15,000 non-industry gamers have the opportunity to go to E3 this year. Tickets went on sale this Monday. 48 hours later, they are not sold out.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
Not really. It's expensive.
Really?
It's expensive.
It's
I am
expensive.
shocked. Shocked.
Me too. I would have placed all of my money on those selling out in an hour. It's E3. It's like it's Disneyland filled with video games.
It used to be like the mecca for gamers. Maybe it's not anymore. Like
Maybe
am-
because you can go to PAX. It's
maybe that's
Yeah.
because today there are PAXs and
I am both shocked and non-shocked. When I went for the first time,
both.
yeah,
shocked.
just whatever. The first time I went to E3, it was as I was transitioning out of being just a fan and watching it from the IGN reader perspective and watching it on G4 when that was still a thing. And going for the first time, it was amazing, but I can also see how it is prohibitive to fans because of the cost and also because of travel, and it's months out.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a younger kid who really
They don't
wants
even
to
know
go.
about the lines yet.
Yeah, and they don't. I mean,
I'm sure
yeah.
they will sell out before.
I
it's still
think
like
by
3
the time the
months.
show, yeah,
Yeah.
But PAX and Comic-Con sells out like right away.
it does.
Tens and tens of thousands of tickets.
I also think this is the first time people may not know they can do this. Like a lot of people who watch,
Like the word didn't
E3,
get out?
Yeah, the word just may not have gotten out to all the people who would want to. I mean, I would think enough people in California alone would have sold it out.
Yeah.
who would want
I
to
would
go,
think so
but
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know so many people would come up to me at E3 and be like, "Yeah, I'm here as a fan, but because I work at GameStop or something like that, like retail job where they got in." Like, people figured it out, but maybe not that many people as I thought.
And also,
Are gonna
like,
try that hard to get there.
like maybe things will start to change this year. I mean, I know there are some panels that which is pretty much a first for
Yeah,
E3.
totally.
But generally speaking, I mean, compared to something like PAX, which has been servicing like the general public for such a long time, like there's not going to be tons of activities and things to do on the show floor and places. It's mostly always been a business and trade show, and like I think that people kind of have a sense of that already. That like, hey, I'm going to go there, and like, yeah, there's going to be lots of glitzy booths and lots of cool sites. But at the end of the day, like, is there going to be a console free play room where I can hang out with my friends and play Street Fighter? Is there going to be, a retro arcade where I can go and play arcade systems, arcade cabinets?
There's probably going to be a tank
90s?
somewhere in the parking lot.
Is there going to be all kinds of cool lounges everywhere where I can, like, are there going to be beanbags in the hallways that I can lay on for no reason and play, and see who I can street pass with my 3DS? Like, that's just not part of the experience of E3. And I think that in the age that we're in now, like when we were all much younger, and the internet wasn't like as massive of a thing. Like there was a veil of mystery about what E3 was and what was there. And I think a lot of people who are avid gamers and who come to IGN.com, they now know, like in a very direct way, exactly what E3 is, and they probably starting to understand, like, oh, I can actually have a more well-rounded, fun, interactive experience if I go to PAX and pay less money. So like, why wouldn't you do that, right?
Plus,
I think they're crazy. E3 is amazing.
Oh, I agree.
I
I am so. I mean, I look forward to it
I know
every
exactly
year.
what you mean.
I look forward to it every year.
well, there's also EA Play going on, I guess, right before that. And, that's open to the public, but does EA even charge for that?
I thought that was just a big tent you got.
I don't think it's
That's like a
I don't know.
charged. I think it's free. I think it's I believe it's a first come first serve basis. I could be incorrect on that, but
Sorry.
I'm really surprised.
I think it is growing from what it was last year because that was the first year they did EA Play. But it's also that runs from June 10th to the 12th, whereas E3 is the 13th
proper,
to the 15th, and especially now that the conferences are being more spread out, it seems
Yeah, for sure.
that changes things a lot.
Okay. Before we play video game 20 questions, time to talk about what we've been playing.
Cool.
Now, Vince, I think you might be playing something you can't talk about.
I am thoroughly playing something that I thoroughly cannot talk
but
about.
And you're going to play something next week, which you definitely can't talk
Which
about.
I also
even
definitely
more.
cannot talk
Super
about.
double that can't talk about.
Right. But so I will talk about the thing that I've been playing quite often in between the things I can't talk about, which is Paragon. I'm playing the hell out of Paragon. Yeah, for the last 2 months now.
I never hear people talk about that game.
Yeah. I think it's probably because out of all of the MOBA-esque games, it is most MOBA, so it's the one that most likely like makes people go, "Whoa, this is too much," almost right away. Because it really is, like, even though it's a third-person perspective, kind of like Smite is, it's the closest analog to MOBA mechanics and MOBA concepts and ideas, which a lot of people find kind of off-putting and a little bit too complex. But the game is free to play, stunningly gorgeous. Like, it's just a beautiful, beautiful game. Whether you're on the PC, you're on PS4 Pro, regular PS4, runs great. Even on the regular PS4, it's 60 frames per second. Really cool hero designs, great artwork. Yeah, totally free. Every hero is available to you right from the start.
Did you spend money on it?
I have spent money on it only because, like, I realized after holiday break, when we came back at the beginning of January, I realized that in like 3 weeks I had put on like 50 or 60 hours into it, and I was like, well, I kind of want to give them something for the fun that I've had with it. But it's all
cool.
it's all cosmetics, so it's not like you have to spend money to get ahead. But I just wanted to because some of the skins are just genuine, and I'm not a cosmetics guy, but some of the skins are so cool. I was like, you know what? I'll throw a few bucks at this game. So that's what I've been playing a lot of.
Nice. I'm still working my way through Resident Evil 7. Still enjoying that. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I've been playing Shining Force on Game Gear.
Cool, awesome.
Because I love the Shining Force series, but I never played the Game Gear version.
Is it different?
So there's Shining Force 1 and 2 on Genesis. The one on Game Gear is called Shining Force 2, but it's a totally different game. It's not a port of that one. And that totally takes me back. No, they just don't make games like that anymore.
Landstalker.
Well, I mean,
Which is
this
not
is a turn-based strategy
yeah.
game. But yeah, it's like super colorful, lots of like fun enemy variety and different class types.
That would totally
my
work
team.
on a portable system too.
Oh, yeah.
That must
for
be
sure.
great on Game
Yeah.
Gear.
Playing Shining Force 2 on Game Gear. It's super fun.
And I'm sure your batteries are holding up.
Yeah, they're fun.
Did you also try Jurassic Park on Game Gear?
No, I haven't tried that
We
one.
watched videos of it though. I really liked it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is that what you're playing right now?
Yes. No, I'm playing Resident Evil 7, and I just beat a big gross bug boss, which we both talked
yes.
about. I like that part a lot. And then back in the house now, there's monsters everywhere. It's really hard. But I'm also playing Fire Emblem. I'm playing that a lot. Heroes on my phone, and I've pretty obsessed. I have 2 5-star characters, which I'm really proud of, and which just random draws. It's not because I'm good at the game, but it made me good at the game because now I can just steamroll stuff. And now I'm playing through some of the lunatic levels, and I'm leveling up some of the weirder classes just so I have them, because Nintendo releases some DLC like almost every day. and they change it out a lot. And like some of the maps they've released, I can't beat. And like our guide writer Casey, she hasn't been able to beat some of the stuff because they're so hard. So that makes me like obsessively grind to be like next time because they're already gone now, which sucks. I missed a whole map. I couldn't beat it. I couldn't get a hero because I don't know. They sucked me in on that. And it's 100% free too.
Yeah,
Nice.
Because there's so many. You would buy these orbs to get new heroes, but like, and I'm fine with that. But like, I have so many orbs. Yeah, I don't need them. It's great. I love it.
I'm also playing Resident Evil 7, and I played a boss battle over the weekend that almost gave me a heart attack.
Oh, man.
I had the biggest anxiety.
Which
attack
was it
of my life.
after ours?
The chainsaw battle.
Oh God.
That was with the hanging bodies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had to play that 3 or 4 times,
Same,
and like
yeah.
by the nth time of that, I'm like, if this goes on anymore, I'm just gonna have to stop.
Yeah,
And luckily
I
beat
played it once or twice, and my heart was racing. I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this, and then finally
because you were
beat it.
frustrated?
No, I wasn't frustrated. I figured out the trick to be able to play through it, but I just kept getting tripped up, or I was so nervous that I was going to die.
Our
even though I
guide
was
writer
real.
played that so early that he couldn't figure out. There's this boss, and I won't spoil it. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I'm trying to
But
remember
like, there's a boss that like shows you that he's vulnerable, but it seems like he's not.
Yeah,
So you just keep on shooting him and stuff, and then he goes down in this vulnerable mode. But you just think you can't damage him. So our guide writer just couldn't damage the boss and just played forever. And so I at least knew going in, like when he kneels down, you can hurt him. Like that's good advice if you're gonna play Resident Evil 7.
Yeah,
Which you should do. That game's really cool.
yeah, that boss battle.
That same guy that you fight earlier in the garage. That's like this
I
hilarious.
love the garage scene.
That's that's one of my favorite recent video game.
That is a great
moments. You haven't played this yet, Vince?
No, I haven't.
You really gotta
Yeah,
play
that
it.
that battle's great. And then I've also
There's a
been playing-
smashy car. It's really fun. Just smash.
Also just been playing real quick Gravity Rush 2. Which I love.
On my list,
I read Miranda's review and had to pick it up. I was a fan.
Same. That
Rush
sold
2
me
is
too.
super
Yeah, and it's a blast to play through. I'm making my way slowly.
Where are
through
you?
It, but very early in, probably the first 5 or so hours.
So did it open up into the
yes.
cities area
Yes,
yet?
I did that.
That's so great.
That
I love-
was-
how pretty is that when
it
you're
is
going
a
through the villages?
gorgeous, yeah, and it's also
every time you use gravity powers, everything floats up around.
I
you.
love it.
What
And
a-
it's
Unbelievable.
People float up too.
Yeah, they're like, ah!
I love
and you
seeing
just
them
throw
so
them off
fly.
the
weird
edge.
and like
It's-
cartoony.
It's great, and then I also was surprised by the story. It just dives right into issues of class in that world, and it's amazing. I was
especially
like,
there.
I didn't expect.
Yeah,
that,
there's
but I-
the dirty area with all sooty below.
Yeah.
And then the nice area way up high.
Yeah.
And dude, then after that, there's another huge open area
Yeah.
that opens up, and then they kind of connect, and it's an amazing game.
yeah, it's very cool.
We've talked about it a lot in this.
That's
show.
higher on my list to get to than Resident Evil. I mean, I
They're
want
both-
to play
they're
Resident
both,
Evil.
Both
but-
good games.
So different.
Yeah.
What a cool January and February it's been. Oh, my God.
And then
Yeah.
it's
Been a
it's
good
not
start to the
it's
year.
not winding down. We have
No.
we have
Horizon,
we have
Zelda,
coming. We have
Mass
Mass
Effect.
Effect. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
All right, it's time to play video game 20 questions. And today, I don't know if you guys were aware of this. Today is the 5th anniversary of the PlayStation Vita's release.
Yes.
Here in the US.
It's a beautiful day.
PlayStation Vita is 5 years old today.
Happy birthday
And,
to my favorite handheld gaming system.
I love the Vita. I still play it.
my Vita.
I love my Vita so much. And to celebrate, we actually have a PlayStation Vita to give away. It was actually sent to Sam from a GameScoop fan.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, we just have it.
We have, it's a full PlayStation Vita.
Gen 1 Vita. I turned it on. It works. It's in white.
3G or Wi-Fi.
I was going to
It's
say
one of the
is it-
older models. It's the older model.
Oh, so it's the OLED. Oh, great.
It's in-
That's the way.
It's in really good shape.
Yeah. So we're gonna give it away. We'll give it away next week to whoever emails us a suggestion for Video Game 20 Questions, and we pick you. Just make sure you in your email, gamescoop@ign.com. Just include your name and address and that info, and we'll pick a winner for that next week.
Awesome.
To win a PlayStation Vita. It's
Very
an awesome
exciting.
system. But this week's suggestion comes from Bruce. Let the questioning.
So I have to win
Ken.
because I just lost on GameScope.
Hit us with it,
you
Bruce.
just won on Guess This NES Game from the manual.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
From 5
Everybody
words.
should check out GameScope this week, though. You put up a new one.
Yeah, that went
on
up.
the
Yeah, if
GameScoop
you're just
channel.
a podcast listener,
And you like these games.
check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/gamescoop for these. We put up these extra bonus little games that we play here.
Yeah, and one's called GameScope where we guess the image of a screenshot.
Like a screenshot that we're
or
way
a-
zoomed in on.
Yeah, and it's become very competitive, and it's very difficult.
But anyway, this week, Video Game 20 Questions. Let the questioning begin.
Okay. Was this game released after January 1st, 2000?
Yes. Sorry, Sam.
Okay.
I just been a pass. Is this part of the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii generation?
Yes.
I don't know how that would be ambiguous, David.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay.
You got it? You got the game?
Yeah, I know the game is.
That was a fancy. That was a very
Does
Does
fancy.
it take place underwater?
Is it the remake of Echo the Dolphin? Is it a? Oof. Well, now because of that question, I'm wondering if there's a remaster involved somewhere. But
Or is there a sequel? You can go that route.
true.
Or is it part of a series?
Yeah. Did it also appear on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah,
All right, yeah.
Good
wow.
call. Good call.
We're going to get this in 4 questions.
Are you a human in this game?
Wow. I cannot answer that question. So no, I won't count that one.
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
answer it.
Do I get another one then? Or do you have?
Well, we all get to ask. You don't have to.
Right. Okay. One of my favorites is the primary mode of interaction shooting.
Yes.
Okay.
Was this critically well received?
Yes.
Not game of the year material.
Okay.
I got one. Is this a Japanese game?
No.
Okay. Was this game platform exclusive?
No. Whoa. Wait.
Or sorry,
hold on.
was it a PlayStation exclusive?
Well,
Or
what's
how to
your
best phrase
question?
it? Is this game multi-platform?
You're gonna get a lot out
Yeah,
of
there
it for
we
this
go.
one.
Whoa. So you changed your question.
Sorry. I was saying platform, just
And-
the reverse of that. Is
Is
it?
this game multi-platform? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a first party.
And it's U.S. developed.
Yes, yeah.
As a remake.
Yeah.
How many games could this be?
Is
Whoa. You said it has a remake?
Yeah, you said there was, or no, you said it was out on the. Sorry, it's on both systems. We didn't ask if
Okay.
there was a remake.
Yeah, so it could be one of the launch games that appeared, like a launch window
Yeah.
Xbox One, like a Call of Duty
Sure.
Ghost or something like that.
is this game played from a third-person perspective?
No. Well, hold up.
Ooh.
Man, I'm 2 for 2 on asking these questions.
Is this game played from a how?
Okay, can I ask you this
What if?
question?
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to.
Okay, no.
Sean,
wanna
I
ask you
think-
a question.
How does Sean know what's going on
He's
here?
got
Different-
the notes.
different
Sean,
question.
isn't the basic answer yes?
No, I want a different question. Nope.
Okay,
I'm-
okay.
I'm-
No, I like
no,
that. This is helping
No,
us.
no, it's
Yeah.
But then they're like, maybe yes,
Well-
and then we end up on a totally different tangent, and we're totally screwed.
Let's establish
I want a
something.
definitive answer, so this is what I'm going to ask.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask a different
All
question.
right, new question.
Okay, new question. Is this played from a first-person perspective?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
Okay. But
But
all that
let-
hesitancy
so-
clearly.
keep this in mind.
That was a great exchange.
If you play a game, if you play a big
We
game
don't get
from
it.
more than one perspective, the answer to both of those questions is yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily help you.
yeah, so
And
it has third
based
person
on
and
the
first person
hesitancy, I
parts.
think there is third person involved. Something like a vehicle section.
Probably.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
Game perspectives may change, and then that can throw you off.
So is there anything that's saying that this isn't like just this huge game like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Call of Duty?
Grand Theft Auto did have that first person.
Yeah, it feels
perspective,
like Grand Theft Auto. One of them is probably a pretty
I
good.
mean, we need to narrow it down because like these are
Yeah,
huge.
do we wanna go
classifications
publisher?
of games.
Worth noting. Hold on a second.
That'd
One
be
second.
amazing.
Worth noting. Before we get off on the Grand Theft Auto tangent, or
He
anything
said it
like
wasn't
that.
critically well received. We gave it
Yeah,
a 10.
that's true.
He wasn't sure, and then also
it's not that I wasn't sure. I said yes.
you did eventually say yes, but you clearly hesitated.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So, but the other,
psychology.
but the other thing is this: he also didn't feel super comfortable with the question: do you play as a human?
Oh,
I
well,
didn't know how to answer that question.
that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not
So
Call of Duty.
it's-
So
Right,
Forgot about that. All
It's
right.
not
All
Grand
right.
Theft Auto. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's not
why
Grand
would
Theft
this be confusing in first person what you're playing as? If it has first person parts, yeah, that's very strange. This is a little bit confusing to me. So American made on all those
I didn't
cross
say- I
platforms.
did-
Oh yeah,
for the record, I didn't
yeah,
say it was
yeah. Sorry, non-Japanese made.
European.
How about is this game set in the present day?
No.
Okay.
Is it set in the past?
No,
It's set in the future.
that's 10.
Are you asking the
No.
future? Okay.
So future-y, sci-fi
Future
game.
sci-fi.
Not sure if you're a human. Multiple perspectives, cross-platform,
Sounds like you can choose your character, maybe in that sense. You design
possibly.
your
And
character.
You want to ask that question?
ooh,
Can you design your character?
Sean, would you say you can design your character?
I liked it better when
Then
Sean
it's-
was on our side.
then it's not a Bethesda game.
Yes, the answer to that question was yes.
So then why would you say it's not a
Oh, it's always you can design your character.
Yes.
Sorry. I thought you said it wasn't.
Yes.
Then it can be with the.
It takes place in the future, and it was on PS3.
And he also said, and we've still established that the primary motive
Or
of
maybe
action is
he's
shooting.
he's giving a little smile. Maybe it doesn't take place in the past or present, but it's on.
Yeah, I mean something like Skyrim.
Right, but shooting though is the primary.
Fair.
Yeah, is the primary. But it could be, it could still be Mass Effect because you play as obviously Shepard is a human, but you have non-human members of your team, and that would explain his confusion about that.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Can you play in first person in Mass Effect? I actually haven't played.
I can't remember.
The trilogy. I don't think
some.
It's not
I think
Mass
it's-
Effect. No,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no. That's a clear third person shooting
Yeah.
game.
Hmm.
And plus, that's not on PS4. I mean, I guess it's backwards compatible.
No, but is it? What about What about the collection?
That's
Is that-
PS3.
That's
I don't think it's the.
We probably need to get out of the ambiguity of whether this was remade on those systems or not. I don't know.
So
Does
you
that seem weird to you?
Well, I mean, like his
appeared in
answer
both
was
generations.
definitely yes.
Was this what about what this was a retail game or not, as opposed to a little?
I mean, if it's a
indie game?
360 PS3 game, it's almost certainly was released at retail. That wasn't the age of everything being digital, or even a lot of things being digital only.
All right, so back to genres. Does that help? Shooters?
I
stuff
guess
like that?
yeah. Back so
You said main
genre.
component is shooting.
Main component is shooting, and it's played from both first and third. I'm trying to think of any game. I'm even trying to think. Like, I feel like on the list of games that were played in first person or third person, and were primarily shooters, that can't be a very long, and was multi-platform. That can't be a massively long list.
Next question.
Can I throw a wild one out there?
Yeah.
It'll just cross.
Go
one
for
off
it.
the list.
Yeah.
Did this game have cell shaded graphics?
No.
Okay. Well, I was thinking maybe Borderlands because
So-
that was remastered.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can take questions like that and do like, did this have a realistic graphical style and kind of eliminate stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know whether to do that now.
I'm also thinking about like, in terms of the first and third person perspective thing. Like, there are some games that stay in first person mostly, but then move to a third person once you get behind cover. I'm wondering if
This is a real stumper, Damon. This is a tough one.
so.
We have that it is first person and may have other. We didn't clarify whether or not it does. We assume based on his hesitation.
Right.
But.
I gotta think, guys. You guys gotta take some more questions.
Throw a question out there.
Oof.
Okay.
We've gone through 12 questions so far. 8 questions left.
Was eight questions left?
How about can you drive a vehicle in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a lot of games where you can do that.
Sure.
What are the Grand Theft Auto likes from that time? Well, no, because and then the human thing is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What game would allow you to drive a vehicle,
Right.
also shoot?
Right.
You don't know if you're a human, and you can design your character.
Right. That's the other one. Is this, you can design
The design
your
character is yeah.
I can hear Sean laughing in the studio.
It's gonna be so obvious once it's. I mean, there was only a limited number of things that released for both generations as well.
Right. Yeah. Was there they re-released they re-released one of the Saints games on
Those are inherently third person though.
Always? I didn't play them really. So
Is this an open world game?
that's a good question.
No.
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 Okay.
Well, then we got to stop thinking about all of these.
Yeah.
I guess multi-platform. It could be a Halo game, right?
No, multi-platform, it can't be a Halo game. Well,
Yeah, it can. Halo games are on PC.
Yeah, I guess that's the tough thing. Is that
And
we
they did
haven't-
re-release everything with the Master Chief Collection.
right.
Yeah.
The problem being, the only problem with that being, and this is what was strange to me about your question about platform is that you said it's from that. Well, he said it's not platform exclusive, right? But we didn't establish whether or not it was also on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we
Or if it's exclusive to PlayStation or Microsoft.
right, like we know we know that.
So how do we narrow down that question?
Yeah,
What's the question we
best
ask?
way.
I guess it's has this game ever become available on PC?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was on Halo. Yeah.
Are there sequels to this game?
Jesus. Damon Tiberius Hatfield. His middle name is not Tiberius.
Not yet.
Not yet. Wow, you really threw us a bone there.
Yeah.
You really?
But I don't know how to accurately answer that question.
Not yet.
So what's out right now? That's
Oh man.
We need to establish how to tackle that question in the future, but we'll handle
Yeah.
that later.
My.
I mean, because that could be spiritual sequels as well, I guess.
is it Halo Wars?
Mm. Oh,
No, that doesn't work for
no. Well, because you asked if it was ever out on PC. Was Halo Wars 1 ever out on PC? I think. Also, that's never in first person.
That's right.
Yeah,
never in
that's
first person.
That's not a bad route.
And I don't think it was ever brought to PS4 and the modern consoles, right?
There is a definitive, but it's not.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Should we try for Microsoft or PlayStation exclusive? Or at this point, are we?
Wait, does that make sense with our line of questioning?
I don't think so because
No.
we've established that it's a We've established it's multi-platform, but not on PC, right? So that means that
Yeah,
it
so that's
couldn't
fair.
have
That
been.
means it could be on like PS4 and Vita or like something like that.
Yeah. We're probably
This
overthinking.
is-
We're probably
What do-
overthinking that.
what
Yeah,
was
we
that?
are way overthinking.
We have 4
this.
questions left.
What was
Yeah.
that not yet thing?
Yeah, that's what's bothering me.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about what's a game that's got a sequel coming soon, or that we know. A sequel. we can
From the booth.
hear our
No
producer
microphone.
Sean
Laughing.
Finnegan laughing at our misfortunes right now.
Oof.
So it's
Sorry,
not Red
listeners.
Dead or Mass Effect? Is it just Mass Effect?
Oh, wait a minute. No, it can't be. We've established that it can't be Mass Effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And Red Dead is third person primarily.
right. And there's no vehicles unless you count a horse.
Yeah.
In a
It takes
sense.
place in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
It should be super easy for us to figure out.
Jeez.
A game not in the past or the present that doesn't have a sequel yet.
Mhm.
Primarily first person.
I don't know what that even means.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, 4
We're
questions
gonna look
to
like
go.
buffoons.
Sorry,
when this
Damon.
is-
Bring it
This is
home.
taking us so long.
Yeah.
Bring it home.
Man, these have gotten a significant. I remember when we first started playing this game, it was like there was no world in which we could ever not get it. And now
Well,
every time I'm on, it's like
I started out
ooh.
picking like Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot of the obvious ones.
Yeah.
My only thing would be to take shots in the dark at publishers or developers at this point. because I
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
That might be our only, or something wackadoo,
Yeah.
or just something.
Would things about like voice acting help this or
No, like the
Just
problem
doesn't narrow
is
it down.
that we can't come up with one game that right now between the 3 of us, we have not been able to come up with one game that we cannot eliminate from. I feel like if we found just one, that would be the one.
I have one in my head, but I don't think it.
world?
Well, we'll just spit it out. We
The,
might as well-
the remaster isn't out yet, but Bulletstorm is also technically.
right.
I
but-
don't know if there are vehicle sections in there.
and there are definitely no. There's not a
It's a weird
sequel
one.
coming, and like there's not a sequel coming to my knowledge anyway. That I've heard.
Yeah, I didn't think about is this, did we even ask if this was just like a first person shooter?
No, we haven't.
Wait,
We just know that it's first
wait
person.
Wait a minute. Oh no, it never came to PC. Damn it! For a second, I was like,
I'm sorry about questions. I'm trying to think. And also the design of characters.
We have lingered here too
Yeah,
long.
I know.
We got to bring it home.
oh no.
I would just throw out random publisher questions at this point because I don't know.
Is this an American published game or an American developed game?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if it was European, that would help us all.
3 questions
yeah.
left.
You like big publishers? You want to go
I
to
just
publishers?
did Activision publish this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Well, because I keep going back to Call of Duty Ghosts. I feel like
Yeah.
you could probably customize your characters for.
Yeah, totally.
And
I agree with you.
Is it Call of Duty Ghosts?
You can't.
Whoa,
we can
whoa,
wait.
Can
whoa.
I? Oh, I.
We
We have to wait. Oh, I didn't.
We can. We narrow. it
Oh,
down
we can
more.
wait. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
You have two
If you
questions
wanna-
left.
okay.
Yeah. So
My
is
apologies.
this?
No.
You can say stuff like,
Okay.
"Is this part of the Call of Duty series?" And
Okay.
Because we don't know.
Then
which one
yeah.
it
So,
is.
but Activision published it. My apologies.
Is it a Call of Duty?
Is it a Call of Duty game? No.
Okay.
One question
I
left.
appreciate
go.
it. Thank you.
So then we
Now we're boned.
So now we just have to
Final
say the name
question.
Activision
Guess the game.
published.
An Activision published game that straddles the PS3, PS4 generation, but is not exclusive.
No, it doesn't have a sequel yet.
hmm
Skylanders.
I don't think
What does
there's any
Activision
first
do?
person. Skylanders, Call of Duty. Oh.
What is it?
Is it Destiny?
Yes. On the 20th question, it is Destiny.
That shot in the dark in Activision was
Wait a
amazing.
minute. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait a minute.
What? What?
How do we go through all the Halos
I
and
know.
not get Destiny?
I know.
So
How did we?
When
yeah.
you get on your Sparrow, it bumps
Yes,
out to
it's
third person.
Yeah, on the Sparrow. Wow.
I don't. You were like wear a helmet and
If
stuff.
you're,
Yes.
you're a
I don't know if
human,
you're a human. I
You're a
don't know.
human.
You are definitely.
But you didn't know, so that's
I didn't know. Yeah. See, I didn't.
They're all humans, though, right?
Been
Or the
question
type-
on that. See, another hint should have been
Fire
why.
team
Why
chat.
does Sean know so much?
yeah.
about this?
Yeah. That's true.
Sean's a big Destiny
Yeah.
fan.
Oh,
But you
man.
got there in
Man.
the end,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
all I
Yeah.
got.
That was incredible. Sorry
Wow.
for the silent moments during that
Yeah.
questions,
Oof.
everybody.
That one goes. It goes in the
Nail
win
biter.
column, and that's all
Whoa.
that counts.
Yeah.
Oh
Very
boy,
end.
I don't know if I want to take that one.
I'll take it.
What killed me about that is the idea of it coming out on PS. Is it? You said it was a like we said. You said was it an Xbox 360, PS3, Wii era game? And he said yes. And it's like that's technically true, but I mean like it was really a game that came out 2 years into the PS4 era. And also was released backwards.
I actually
how
didn't even remember that those were released backwards.
You know,
They were released on the previous generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
so that
released-
you could.
yeah, exactly. They were released on, but that's what really threw me off. It's like, oh, it's
So
a 360
is
era.
that multiplayer community still supported?
No, it's not supported. I
No.
think they've stopped support.
Yeah. After the
That's what
last DLC
really
release.
killed me because in my head was all like this game came out in the 360 era, was ported to the PS4.
Oh, me too.
That was my
That's why
assumption,
Damon
yeah.
stopped at one point. He's like, "Hold on,
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a remake."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to say, so there is a sequel.
Yes.
It's just not out yet.
Yeah.
So
That is a weird
But
situation.
yeah,
but so I think I've got a way to do it. You know, I only
you have
use.
to ask: is there a sequel?
Has a
Well-
sequel been
planned?
released?
Or do you mean planned or released?
I'm just saying we only use games that have been released, right? For 20 questions.
Yes.
So we're just gonna assume that everything that's fair is stuff that has already been released. So the answer to the question, does it have a sequel, would be no, because it's not out yet.
Right.
Is there a
Just
sequel
established.
planned? Would be the second.
Sure.
So you were-
if there's a
Sure.
sequel planned, sure.
So we should have
I like
asked it
that.
different. We can ask it differently in the future, but you were being generous by giving
Yeah.
us the-
Yes.
I don't want to.
we got into
My
21
apologies
questions.
for blurting out.
No,
not at all.
you're good, man.
That was
guys
great. Is
got
it Call of
there.
Duty Ghosts?
It was stuck in my head because it was the
That
Oh,
suggestion
the
came
Activision
from.
thing was amazing.
yeah.
That suggestion came from Bruce. He emailed us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com.
Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Like you should, because if we pick your game for next week, you're gonna win your own PlayStation Vita. And if you don't have one, there's just like this. There's just tons of really fun, cool games that you
So
can
many
check
good
out.
games. Yeah.
Make sure to include your name and address in your email. So that is all the scoops that we have for you this week.
We done scooped.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Sam. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Thank
My
you.
name is Damon. This is IGN Game Scoop, and we're out.
Peace.